Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fundamental shift in modern application architecture, the trade-offs between traditional server-based systems and modern serverless setups. To make this super concrete, we'll be using AWS EC2 and AWS Lambda as our guides. If you're looking to optimize exactly how your backend scales and operates, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's dive into this. We have a clear roadmap for today. First, we'll tackle the serverless paradox. Second, we'll look at traditional server-based architecture. Third, we'll introduce serverless architecture. Fourth, we'll run a head-to-head comparison. And finally, we'll figure out which one you should actually choose. So, part 1, the serverless paradox. Where is the server? It's a completely logical question, right? If it's serverless, where in the world does the code actually run? Well, obviously there is no magic here. Compute power, memory, and bandwidth are all still very much in play within physical data centers somewhere out there. The real paradigm shift isn't the elimination of servers, it's the elimination of you having to manage those servers. Moving on to part 2, traditional server-based architecture, or as I like to call it, the heavy lifting. Imagine you've just written a brand new Node.js REST API. Going the traditional route with a backend server, like AWS EC2, for example, gives you a massive advantage, total control. You configure the environment exactly how you want it. But that absolute control brings the very heavy burden of total responsibility. And this brilliantly illustrates just how much manual labor is involved as your app scales from 10 to 100,000 users. You're out there installing the OS, guessing your hardware constraints for RAM and storage, and endlessly managing security patches. And if traffic spikes unpredictably, well, you're manually tweaking auto-scaling groups just to keep the application afloat. It's a massive chore list. Which brings us to part 3. Enter serverless architecture, the ultimate relief. In the serverless world, using a service like AWS Lambda, the paradigm flips entirely. The cloud provider basically steps behind the curtain and takes over. They handle the OS, the memory allocation, the security patches, the whole shebang. Your only job left is to just write the code and deploy it. They handle absolutely everything else through automation. You know, with the rapid evolution of AI right now, we might soon reach a point where AI bots just write the code for us too, while the cloud providers manage the servers, leaving us developers to just sit back on a beach. But hey, until that day comes, the simplification that serverless brings to our current workflow is revolutionary enough on its own. All right, part 4, key differences. Let's do a head-to-head comparison. Let's move to and see how this builds out practically. Think of server-based EC2 as high-friction manual configuration. You are essentially building the house brick by brick. Serverless Lambda, on the other hand, is like a fully furnished room provided by the host. You literally just move your code in for a completely seamless experience. But of course, there's always a trade-off. With server-based architecture, you get absolute fine-grained control. You can tweak every single dial and knob, right down to the specific auto-scaling groups and memory limits. With serverless, you sacrifice that deep control for total convenience. You're trusting the provider's automatic hands-off scaling to accommodate your users instantly. Now, I'd highly recommend grabbing a quick screenshot of this technical breakdown. Notice the fundamental difference in state here. A server-based EC2 instance is stateful, meaning it actually stores user session information in its memory over time. Lambda, though, is inherently stateless. It wakes up, executes, and immediately forgets. So you're trading manual configuration for automatic scaling, sure, but the absolute most crucial difference is how it impacts your wallet. Let's really expand on that cost difference, because honestly, it is massive. A traditional EC2 server runs on per-hour billing. Let's say it costs a minimum of $20 to $50 a month. If your application has exactly 0 users visiting between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., you are still paying for that server to sit there, fully powered up and totally idle. The serverless model introduces pay as you execute. Your code essentially hibernates in a passive mode. When a user sends a request, the code wakes up, invokes, executes, and then goes right back to sleep. You are only charged for the exact milliseconds your code is actively running. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how aggressive cloud providers are in getting you to adopt this serverless model. If you use AWS Lambda, your first 1 million request executions every single month are absolutely free. You literally do not pay a single cent until your code has been invoked 1 million times. And it gets better. Even after you burn through that massive free tier, it remains incredibly cost-effective. For the next 1 million executions, you are typically charged a mere 20 cents. When you compare 20 cents per million requests against a fixed $50 monthly bill for a server that might be sitting completely idle half the time, well, it becomes very clear why serverless is exploding in popularity.
That brings us to our final section. Which should you choose? So, the crucial point is really about matching the tool to the task. If you are building a massive, long-running enterprise application with consistent, heavy traffic that requires complex, stateful memory management, traditional server-based architectures like EC2 are definitely still the right choice. But if you are building simpler applications, deploying a personal blog, or launching a course website where traffic might be totally unpredictable, and you want to keep costs incredibly low, a serverless architecture like Lambda is an absolute no-brainer. I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder today. As developers and creators, our ultimate goal is to build amazing experiences, right? Not to be stuck configuring server RAM at 2 in the morning. So, what does the future of your projects look like when the underlying infrastructure becomes completely invisible? When that happens, your only limit is the code you can imagine. I highly encourage you to rethink your current development stack with this in mind. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me in today's Explainer, and keep building.